Hello everybody. Today we are going to work on the first two skills of the unit. It's the 8th grade unit, solving equations with one unknown. So the first two skills that we're going to talk about are equations with variables on both sides, and then equations with variables on both sides with decimals and fractions. So let's start with equations with variables on both sides. Okay, so let's take a look at this particular example. Basically, we're just solving equations like we've been solving. However, now you can see I have variables on both sides. So the whole goal is to get all your variables on one side and all your constants on the other. Now, I try to do it so that my variable stays positive. There's more than one way you can solve it, but I try to move my variables and my constants so that the variable stays positive. So watch what I mean by that. So I either need to move this negative 4s or I need to move this positive 1s. Now, if I were to get rid of 1s, I would subtract 1s on both sides, and that would leave me with a negative 5s over here, which means I have a negative variable. So instead of subtracting 1s, I'm going to actually add 4s. So now I've got a negative 4s and a positive 4s, which cancels out. And what we do on one side, we have to do to the other. So that leaves me with 8 on the left. 1s plus 4s gives me a positive 5s, so my variable is positive. And I have plus 13 still left over there. So now I basically just have a two-step equation. So now we're going to go ahead and solve it like a two-step equation. First, we want to eliminate our constant. Since it's plus 13, we're going to subtract 13. Don't forget this is 8 minus 13, which keep change, is going to leave me with a negative 5. So that leaves me with negative 5 equals 5s. And then to get s by itself, we're simply just dividing through by 5 to get rid of our coefficient, which means that my solution is negative 1. Let's try another one. Okay, so let me rewrite this just so I have a little bit more space to work. So to get all my variables on one side, I can either add 3g over here, or I can subtract 6g here. Now, which one will keep my variable positive? Adding 3j. So we're going to do that. So that's going to leave me with 2 plus 9g equals 11. My next step is to eliminate my constant. To do that, since I have a positive 2, we're going to subtract 2. That leaves me with 9g equals 9. And then when I divide through by 9, I get g equals 1. Let's try the next one. Again, I'm just going to rewrite this so I have a little bit more room to work. So we can either subtract 9e or we can subtract 7e. The one that's going to keep everything positive is subtracting 7e. So let's do that. That leaves me with 2e minus 7 equals, don't forget, you've got a negative 11. Now we want to eliminate our constant, so I'm going to add 7 to both sides. That leaves us with 2e on the left-hand side and negative 11 plus 7. Different signs, so we subtract. That leaves me with a negative 4. And then my last step is to divide through by 2. And that's going to leave us with our answer, which is e equals negative 2. Okay, let's try one more of these, and then we'll get into some with some decimals and fractions. So we've got 4b plus 5 equals 1 plus 5b. So you can either subtract 5b on the right or subtract 4b on the left. This is what's going to keep my variable positive, so I'm going to start by subtracting 4b. That leaves me with 5 equals 1. 5b minus 4b is 1b, so plus 1b. Next step, eliminate your constant, so we're going to subtract 1 on both sides. It's going to cancel over on the right, and 5 minus 1 is 4. And obviously 1b is the same thing as b equals 4. Okay, so let's try a few now with some decimals and fractions. It's the same concept. You want to get all your variables on one side and all your constants on the other. So let me rewrite this so I have some room. 4x plus 8 equals 7.2 plus 5x. So do I want to move 4x or 5x? Well, the one that's going to keep my variable positive is subtracting 4x on both sides. So that leaves me with 8 on the left equals 7.2 plus 5x minus 4x is 1x. Now we want to eliminate our constant. I have a positive 7.2, so we're going to subtract 7.2. Okay, that's going to cancel here, leaving me with just x by itself. And then off to the side, you could probably use mental math, but if you need to, line up your decimals. And 8 minus 7.2 is going to leave us with 0.8, which is our answer. X equals 0.8. Let's try another one. So we've got 2/3 b plus 5 equals 20 minus b. Okay, so I'm going to add b on both sides. So really we're adding 1b. Well, 1b plus 2/3 b is 1 and 2/3 b. But rather than writing it as a mixed number, let's write it as an improper fraction, which is going to be 5/3 b. Okay, so that leaves us with 5/3 b plus 5 equals 20. Now I'm going to eliminate my constant. I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. It's going to cancel on the left, and that's going to leave us with 5/3 b equals 20 minus 5 is 15. And how do we get rid of our fraction as a coefficient? Well, we multiply by the reciprocal. So all this cancels out, and what we do on one side, we do to the other. I can cross simplify here, and that's going to leave me with b equals 9, because 3 times 3 over 1 is 9. Okay, let's try another one. I've got negative 1/4 a minus 4 equals 7/4 a minus 3. Okay, so to keep my variable positive, I'm going to move my 1/4 a. So I'm going to, since this is negative, I'm going to add 1/4 a. It's going to cancel there, and what we do to one side, we do to the other. Well, let's think about this. 7/4 a plus 1/4 a is going to equal 8/4 a. And what's 8 divided by 4? 2a. So that leaves me with, don't forget you've got a negative in front, negative 4 equals 2a minus 3. My next step, I want to eliminate my constant, so I'm going to add 3 on both sides. That cancels there. Negative 4 plus 3, different signs, so we subtract. Leaves me with a negative 1 equals 2a. And then we divide through by 2, leaving us with a equals negative 1/2, which is your answer. Okay, that does it for those two skills. The correlating note-taking packet pages are pages 1 through 4. And again, if you'd like to see some additional examples, you can watch the videos in Khan Academy. Have a great day, everyone.